James Gunn admits Peacemaker Season 2 is a Superman follow-up that can rival The Boys in one unhinged department. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Please like, share and subscribe for more. Director James Gunn isn't holding back on the profanity in the highly anticipated Peacemaker Season 2, which is slated to premiere this week. During his conversation with Wilson, Gunn shed light on the show's change in tone compared to his 2025 blockbuster Superman. Gunn explained that he felt comfortable using profane language in the show and was not worried about the use of the C-word in the second installment. Instead, Gunn revealed that the first episode, which includes the aforementioned dance O**GY, was meant to indicate a shift in tone. James Gunn recently confirmed that the upcoming Peacemaker Season 2 will be a direct sequel to 2025 Superman and teased that it could be as unhinged as The Boys. During a conversation with The Office star Rainn Wilson for Interview magazine, Gunn revealed that the second season will double down on the profanity. It's a sequel to Superman. HBO, they've always kind of let us do what we wanted. Remember, HBO has had a lot of nudity in their shows. They're not unknown to nudity. Gunn made the above statement in response to Wilson's surprise at the amount of nudity in the second season, which is set to include a dance O**GY. As a result, the sophomore installment is likely to be a wild ride with its nudity and profanity likely to rival The Boys, and its unhinged dance O**GY could even dwarf the shock value of the latter's Harrigasm episode. Here is what Gunn had to say about Peacemaker Season 2. We're trying to warn people as much as possible when they see the episode that although this is a follow-up to Superman, it is definitely not for children. Gunn made the above statement, explaining how the second season of the John Cena-led series was meant for a more mature audience. Hence, if Gunn's comments are any indication, Season 2 is strictly not for children and brings an entirely different approach to the new DCU. Peacemaker Season 2 will see the return of the show's main cast, which includes Danielle Brooks, Freddie Stroma, Jennifer Holland, and Steve Agee alongside Cena in the titular role. However, since Season 2 takes place after the events of Superman, a few characters from the movie are also set to appear. Frank Grillo, who first appeared as Rick Flag Sr. in Creature Commandos and later in Superman, is slated to reprise his role. Moreover, Gunn has teased that Flag Sr. will be one of the main antagonists of the second season, reported via Collider. Meanwhile, Sean Gunn also returns as billionaire Maxwell Lord after a brief cameo in Superman. Lord's Justice Gang, introduced in the movie, also makes a return with Isabella Merced and Nathan Fillion reprising their roles as Kendra Saunders/Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner/Green Lantern. Additionally, Terrence Rosemore and Stephen Blackheart as Luthor Corp employees, Otis Berg and Sidney Happerson, and James Hiroyuki Liao as General Mori, the Secretary of Defense, also return after appearing in Superman, via comicbook.com. What do you think OG James Gunn dialing up the profanity in Peacemaker Season 2? Let us know in the comments. James Gunn hints at Idris Elba's return as Bloodsport, teasing a mystery Superman shooting that could connect DCU's past to David Corenswet's future. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Please like, share and subscribe for more. So, now that there's a curiosity surrounding which Superman was shot, that mystery could be the perfect way for Gunn to connect past stories to his new DC universe. Following the success of his new Superman movie, James Gunn has been talking about which old DC characters might show up in his brand new DC universe. Speaking with EW, the filmmaker addressed Margot Robbie's return as Harley Quinn, while also revealing his plan for Bloodsport's comeback. Robbie's Harley Quinn will be revealed down the line. I definitely am always looking for a place to put Bloodsport and figuring that out. So we'll see what happens. Much like Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, even Idris Elba's Bloodsport was last seen in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, 2021. Therein, we learned about an off-screen scene where Bloodsport had shot Superman with a kryptonite bullet, thus leading to his incarceration in the first place in the DCU. But here's the twist: although the movie was directed by James Gunn, the filmmaker never confirmed which Superman it was, given that his film never showed that moment, only spoke about it. While people assumed it to be Henry Cavill, given that both films were part of the DCU, Gunn never clarified with certainty. But the movie never actually showed the scene, and James Gunn never confirmed which Superman was shot. However, since both films were part of DCU, fans naturally assumed it was Henry Cavill's version, but Gunn left the answer open-ended. Speaking with IGN, In a breakdown of his 2021 James Gunn's Peacemaker finds
noted,
itself in the crosshairs of an obscure Rainn for putting Superman into the ICU with a kryptonite that inspired the tone of the DC series. The Suicide Squad is a part of the DCU. But I don't know which Superman please subscribe, because I don't forget to turn on notifications. So, for more video, Henry, please like, share, and subscribe. Somebody else. In his interview with the Office star, James Gunn tells Rainn Wilson that there is more to Peacemaker than his costume, he wants to bring his ideology. Elba's Bloodsport, while the character comes off as superficial, oxymoronic, in the Suicide Squad, and a blubbering buffoon. Bloodsport was introduced as a deadly anti-hero has more heart and emotion to fame. He once shot Superman is about Christopher Smith, a guy who puts on a costume, landed him in prison. But it really is that about would make Bloodsport's return of Bane for his David reasons for putting on that costume are various. After all, but this storyline would lead Elba's character to who his father is Superman, but in the same way in Super. It's very much a story about since Frank Darbo, that Superman and it's about a guy who puts on a costume. We could briefly sacrifice him for the sake of the plot. The dramatic and the comedic. This is where things get interesting for David Cornsweet at the center of it. If Gunn decides to bring Idris Elba's Bloodsport, he could easily rewrite that unseen moment from his 2021 film familiar to make it part of Cornsweet's regular collaborators. Because, anyway, Nathan Fillion, he's bringing a character from the DCU and Kevin Bacon, and merging it with his new DCU. A lighthearted, fun comedy. That means Bloodsport's history spirals down a strange and depressing rabbit hole with Man of Steel, turning him into one of Superman's most dangerous past enemies before Peacemaker may have existed in the comics from the 1960s. But James Gunn claims that his version is a spiritual sequel to the lowest-rated film of his career by Lex Luthor, starring Rainn Wilson in a dark comical role. Even juicier. Super was written and directed by Gunn part of the backstory. Pre-Marvel and DC could suggest that Bloodsport probably met Lex as a working partner. The movie has started gaining some recognition among niche fans, primarily an assassin for hire, obscure and Lex has his twisted ways of going to extreme lengths Wilson and Gunn for interview people to get rid of Superman. The filmmaker asked the actor, now that Lex Luthor has been captured by the end of Superman successor 2025, right? It could mean that while it was not immediately obvious to do the job on his behalf, as might be the case with some fans. This could be a possible storyline that could connect DCU Gunn with starts breaking it down and bring Idris Elba's Bloodsport into the plot. While most of James Gunn's superhero films gained box office recognition and critical acclaim from the Suicide Squad. It is important to focus on the dark indie dramas that help refine fans' big-budget vision later on. Would immediately start writing a direct sequel, starring while disclosing his plans for Bloodsport's return. Gunn made it clear that a Superman sequel isn't in his book, but his foray into the superhero genre will still be a major part of his next project. With the specials, Gunn says it won't be a continuation of Cornsweet's first movie. Greer. Because like if this storyline plays out, the specials was an experiment just be another villain indie production that gained a minor cult following before receding into oblivion and give fans a fresh, emotional reason to care about their conflict. Super obviously didn't set the world on fire. Fighting just another bad guy. It wasn't a big box office hit. It would be about facing someone it's still one of my favorite movies. But then, noticing the confusion my lowest rated film on Rotten Tomatoes through threads, thinks this is the same movie. Set me up for what Superman I'm doing now. Has a major role. I think it was one of the things that Marvel saw where they wanted me to do.